Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you are returning, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are new, my name's Corie. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll stick around to the end because I'm going to show you how I got buffalo check nails. I am so excited. But let's go ahead and get right into the crafting. DIY number one. So for this DIY, I am going to be starting with some sea salt. It's going to be a half a cup. I have my Epsom salts, which are also going to be a half a cup being used, and a half a cup of baking soda. I'm going to mix all of that together, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of my Arteza mica powder. This is a purple shade, and I am loving it. Just mix all of that up, and now I'm going to be using some lavender essential oil, and I used probably about 30 to 40 little drops of my essential oil. So I'm just splattering that all over, and I'm going to mix it up really well. Setting that aside, I now have my little jar that I got from the Hobby Lobby for about $2.99, and this is a decal I created on my Silhouette Cameo. It was using the font Shine Brighter from defont.com. So I've got that all set. I'm just going to add my scented bath salts to my container, and what a sweet gift. We're just gonna dress it up real quick with a ribbon. I just happen to have this ribbon that was, can you believe, an exact color match to the scented bath salts that we created here. So it was perfect. And I just created a cute little normal shoelace bow, and that is it. Such a simple, cute little gift for Mother's Day. Thank you again so much for being here. Again, if you are new, my name is Corie and this is Crafted by Corie. I love doing all different kinds of DIYs, always on a budget, thrift flips, Dollar Tree, Trash Treasure, you name it. And I'm really happy that you're here because today we're going to be focusing on all kinds of gift ideas for Mother's Day. DIY number two. For this project, I've got a lot of ingredients here. It looks a little overwhelming, but it's honestly really easy and a lot of fun. So I was laughing about this cornstarch because that lid thing says no mess all over it, and yet I opened it and it was like flying everywhere. So anyway, I'm using a half a cup of the cornstarch, a half a cup of, this is citric acid. I ordered this off of Amazon because I couldn't find it at my grocery store, but you might be able to find it at your grocer. And then I've got my Epsom salts again, and then a cup of baking soda. And I will leave the recipes for these in my description box. I found them online, so I'll provide links to the recipes that I used. This is a teaspoon of my mica powder. This time I'm using an orange shade. I'm going to mix all of that in really well. And then I probably could have used a little bit more of the mica powder for this, but it turned out to be a really pretty soft orange color, so I was actually really happy with it. So now in a smaller bowl, I am doing 2.5 teaspoons of coconut oil. And to this, I'm going to be adding my essential oil. This time I'm using the orange, and I've used about 15 or 20 drops of the orange, and then just a tablespoon of regular old water. So you do need to melt this down. I used my heat gun because it was easy and it was there. So rather than running upstairs to the microwave, and coconut oil melts really quickly, so this really just took a minute. Now I'm going to add it very slowly to my dry mixture. And the reason why you want to go slow here is that if you were to dump it all in, it would fizz all up. And you want to save your fizzies for the bath. So just go really slow, a few drops at a time, and you'll be good to go. So by the time you've got it all incorporated, you should have something that's similar to wet sand. And so I'm just making sure that it's all completely mixed well, that everything is moist, so that I'll be able to start adding it to my molds. Now I picked these up from Michael's back at Christmas time, and because I had intended to do this around Christmas time and I ran out of time. So now we're doing it for Mother's Day. Now I'm packing this. I'd read the instructions that said to overload them a little bit so that when you press them together, you know, they have something to hold on to. Yeah, I overloaded it a little too much. And at first I was like, okay, well, I'll just, you know, squeeze it all out of there. It'll be fine. It'll be pressed together. Yeah, I could not get this to come apart without breaking the bomb in the center. It just kept, it didn't want to stick together. So I set it aside for a minute. I'm like, okay, well, I'll use the next size mold and see what happens. So realizing that the first time I definitely had overloaded it, I am going to go a little bit easier on the amount of bath bomb mixture that I'm putting in here. So you can see already that went together much more easily, and then I was able to pull that off. The second part, I was like, oh, it's going to be stuck again, but then I kind of bumped it against my palm and it came right out. So I'm going to set that aside to dry, and these will need to just dry for 24 hours. So now I'm trying this one again. I'm like, you know what? It's not happening. I finally gave up. And at first I thought it was because I was using the larger mold and it just wasn't working. But then I tried again with the other one that I'd had success with, and I had the same issue. So what I realized was I was overpacking them when I was having that issue. So just be careful that you're not overpacking them. You want them packed, but not super packed. I hope that makes sense. So this is a shrink bag for gift baskets, and I cut the top of it off just enough so that I'd be able to use it to wrap up my little bath bombs. This is the next day, by the way. I did let them dry overnight, actually 24 hours. And I wrapped it up like a little bonbon, and now I'm using my little skinny ribbon to tie off the ends. And I just tied knots at first, and then I went back in and tied it as bows. So once I had my bows tied, I went ahead and trimmed off my little ends so that it was looking all cute the way I wanted it. And then I went ahead and I pulled open the ends to tighten it up and also prevent the ribbon from being able to slide off. Now I'm going to come in with my heat gun to shrink it up. I realized real quick I shouldn't be doing it on the other material because I don't want to ruin it before I use it. So I've got it all tight, and my little bath bomb bonbon is good to go. So I did that with all the rest, and here I'm showing you. So on the right it hasn't been shrunk yet, on the left it had been shrunk. You can do it either way. You don't have to shrink it. So if you have the non-shrinkable kind, that will work just fine. I chose to shrink it. So now I've got a little basket from the Dollar Tree, and I've got these automotive microfiber cloths that I just think are soft and lush, and I wanted something to put in the bottom of my little basket. You could use hand towels, washcloths, you could add additional bath products, anything you want. Get creative. So I am using the rest of that bag that was left after I'd cut off the top, and I put my basket in there. This is the ribbon that came with that bag. So cute and easy. You just pull those little strings and it all comes right together. So tied that around the top and using my heat gun to shrink up the plastic around the basket just to make sure it's all nice and snug and looks like a gift basket. So there you are. Such a sweet little gift. And it's handmade, you guys. DIY number 3. For this project, I'm using the Arteza mica powder again, using more essential oils. I've got these molds that I picked up from the Hobby Lobby, and then from Michael's, I have this glycerin soap making stuff. I don't know what the official name is for it. So I am getting it out of its packaging, and then I know I only want to start with half of it. So I was like, can I break it? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So I grabbed the knife that I have in my crafting arsenal and I sliced right through it. It actually cut really easily. I was impressed with how not difficult that was. So they say to use a double boiler or a microwave. I didn't want to go upstairs. I wanted to stay on camera, so I'm using my heat gun again. It did take quite a bit of time, I will tell you that. I do recommend using the microwave or the double boiler. But once I had it all melted down, I've got my mica powders. I've got a gold one here as well as a greenish yellow color. It was the most yellow I could find in my little kit. And I am going to mix all this together along with some essential oil. This time I am using lemongrass. And I was finding that you got to work quickly with the soap because as soon as you take the heat off of it, it wants to start setting. So it was already getting a film on the top of it. It cools super fast. So went ahead and started pouring it into my molds. You can see even right there, see that film on top of it? So fortunately, the bowl was still nice and hot, and the rest of it, underneath was still hot. It's just that surface that starts cooling and solidifying really quickly. So there it goes again, right? So once it was all in my mold, I set it aside, and now I'm using half of the other half. So this is a quarter of that brick that I started with. And this time I'm using champagne mica powder, and I was using eucalyptus and tea tree as my essential oils. I decided that the color that I had really wasn't dark enough, for lack of a better term, so I added some ballerina glow. So it had a teeny tiny smidgen of pink in it. It was like almost imperceptible. Now that last quarter of the soap I melted down, and I'm mixing with, this is a turquoise color. And so I'm adding that to my little molds. And once I had all of that done, I set it aside. An hour later, this, like I said, sets up real quick. So an hour later, they were ready to pop out and use. And so I am just pressing them out of the silicone mold. This was so satisfying. Now, you guys, this is the first time I've ever tried to make soaps. So I didn't go real crazy with it. I imagine I probably could have done something to make the bees look a different color, so they could have been black and yellow on their little honeycomb. I could have done something to dress up my mermaid fins and my shells, but I opted just to make an attempt here to ensure that I was going to have some sort of success before I started, going crazy. And I'm really happy with them. They are so sweet smelling. Now it's time for a shout out timeout. Adorable Carmen, look at all of these awesome minis. Y'all know I love minis. Thank you for sharing. And so pretty, Bobby G. This little set of mini drawers is adorable. Awesome, Grace. She's done some more paint pours. I have no idea how she does this, but I think they're amazing. And very nice, Valerie, some more Mother's Day inspiration. And so sweet, Mary. These were made for a baby shower for photos. Just adorable. I would love to give you a shout out too. So if you have interest, please send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. So for this project, I'm switching to wood. So I have this really neat turning photo holder, for lack of a better term. And I got this at the Hobby Lobby. It was $7.99, which I thought was a really good deal. And I just made sure that I sanded all of the rough edges. And now I'm applying my antique wax by Waverly. With a baby wipe, and I just made sure I had all surfaces covered. So now I have my block of paper that I also got at the Hobby Lobby, and if you missed my haul video, you'll want to check it out because I have some awesome stuff in that last haul video. But I took one of those little inserts and traced it on the back of my paper 4 times, and now I am just getting that all cut out. So now I also had created some decals on my Silhouette Cameo, but I realized very quickly that the font I used was just too fine, and it wasn't coming together for me. I didn't even show you all of the tribulations I had, but I just wanted to show you that, yeah, I have fails myself. So I did opt to hand letter these, so I'm going really slow and doing this. You do not need to hand letter. You could do decals. You could print out pretty images with inspirational quotes off of the internet. You could use actual photos of your children or, grandchildren or whatever you want. The sky is the limit. So use your imagination and do what you think is going to resonate most with the mother that you are gifting this to, or to whomever you might be gifting this to, because it doesn't necessarily have to be for Mother's Day. So I had done it with pencil, went back over it with a black felt tip pen, and now I am just embellishing it a little bit with my rose gold marker from the Dollar Tree, and just wanted to make it really nice and sweet, give it a little bit of something extra, but I wanted to keep it relatively simple. So once I had that all set, I popped them in between the glass and the little backings, and I dropped them back down into the photo holder. And as I'm doing this, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, there's a nice big empty space inside of there. So you could like throw candy in there for somebody, but I decided I'm going to put a flower arrangement in there. So I have a pool noodle from the Dollar Tree and I cut off a piece of that. I've seen other people use this instead of floral foam, so I figured I would give it a try, and it actually worked really well. So instead of an actual vase, I believe what I'm using here is a candle holder, also from the Dollar Tree. But I think those are magnolias, if I'm not mistaken. So magnolias and roses, and I loved the way that this arrangement looked, excuse me, but it was covering up the words. It was hanging too low, so I ended up deciding to pull out the magnolias and just go with roses. And so there you have it. Let me know what you think of this. I just feel like it's super sweet. So now I am off on an adventure to the Restore. This is the Habitat for Humanity Restore in Hamilton, New Jersey. This is not too far from where I live, and I donated these handmade items. This is my friend Timir. He helped me donate my items to the Restore. Now, at this particular location, they mostly have building materials, and so I was looking for something that I could craft with and decided to head on over to their Langhorne location across the river in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And this location is a lot larger and has a lot more stuff. So as you can see here, they had clothesline. I found twine for like 50 cents a spool. They had tape and chalk paint and all kinds of things, furniture. They had all kinds of, you can see handbags. They have new items. They have thrifted items. Anything you could possibly imagine, they probably have it there. So that leads us to DIY number 5. So these are some items that I found at the Restore in Langhorne. I could not believe I found these chicken plates, you guys, and they're blue, which is super popular right now. I don't know who gave these up, but I am so grateful to them. So I'm painting my little parfait glasses with my plaster chalk paint. I'm going to give these 2 coats. And while I'm doing this, I just want to thank my friend Emily Reagan from Habitat for Humanity in Maple Shade, New Jersey. She is the one that I connected with and who gave me the opportunity to donate some of the crafts that I've been making over the last year, because they've just been accumulating. I can't use all of them. So I'm really super happy that these are going to families that are partners of Habitat for Humanity. And if you're not familiar with Habitat, they provide affordable housing in our local communities. They're a fantastic organization, and I hope that you'll check them out. I'm going to leave a link to their website in my description box. But as you can see, I am just gluing my little parfait glasses with some hot glue to the bottoms of my plates. For long-term permanent hold, you're going to want to use E6000, but this worked just fine for my purposes for the video. So you've got these cute little risers that you can even stack. DIY number 6. Okay, this isn't really a DIY. It's about my nails. I had to share this with you because I am obsessed. My sweet friend Sally sent these to me. These are Color Street nail nail polish strips, excuse me. And it came with a cute little emery board. It comes with a little alcohol pad to clean off your nails before you use the nail polish strips. And then it has the strips in different sizes that are already shaped for your nail bed. And so you peel off the little plastic, you take off the backing, and then you go ahead and lay it down. Now, I started to do it and realized that the buffalo check is clear, and I wanted to have a color underneath it. I wasn't sure if it was white or if it was clear. I had a feeling it might be clear. But Sally also had provided me with this other set, which is like a mauve color. And so I went ahead and applied that, and you just stretch it across your nail and press it down, and then use your emery board to file away the excess. And then I went ahead and put the buffalo check right on over top and did the same application. I love these so much. I love that I don't have to wait for it to dry. I did this at 11 o'clock at night, and then I was able to go to bed right after. And I didn't get nail polish all over my fingers on my non-dominant hand the way that I normally do, because I'm usually a hot mess when I try to do my own polish. So these are awesome. Plus they're super cute. Buffalo check. I've got a link for Sally in my description box. If you check her out, let her know I sent you. And here we are with the final reveal. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. So thank you again so much for being here. If you didn't already, I hope that you'll consider subscribing and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Take good care and stay safe. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.